Welcome to Caribbean House Talk. On Caribbean House Talk, we cover topics from funny to curious to tearfully serious. Joining us today, we have our friend to the show, Miss Hyacinth Harrison.
Yeah.
And we're just excited that she's here, and we're just delighted to get started. So why don't we start with this spicy dish, Trish?
Ooh. You want me to pick? Ooh. Ooh, have you ever had a friend who flirted with your man, and how did you handle it?
You know what? I had a friend, I don't think she was trying to flirt deliberately, but she actually told me that she had a dream about him the next day. Yeah, it was kind of weird, but, and she's still a friend. But I just told them, you gotta be careful. Don't, he's very careful anyway when it comes to women, But I did say to him, don't go there by yourself, just watch out. Because I think it's like a natural thing. Women sometimes fantasize about someone else's friend, spouse, or somebody who's good.
See, I see both your husband and my
she should have never told me. That was the whole thing. That was
like,
but I didn't take it, really serious or anything. I just said to him, watch out, you don't want to give any impression, which I know he doesn't, but he's also aware of how other women are. Especially, women see a good man who does the right thing, and sometimes they kind of fantasize.
You know, Caroline, that I love how you handle it. Because you trust him, and you went to him, and you spoke with him. So that gave him more, in my opinion, he probably felt proud. Oh, here she comes talking to me, letting me know that this lady is having a fantasy about me, but she trusts me to tell me, you know what, I know that you're not doing anything correctly, but this is the way she's feeling. So that, I think that's great.
You're a better woman than me. Because me, I think that thought have to be there somewhere for that dream to come up. That's just how I think.
It could be. It could happen that way, but I've never experienced
Was
that.
there anything else besides the dream that she's ever done that says, you know what?
No.
Nothing.
Never.
Just a dream.
Yeah. And I think if I had that, I probably would have never said it. But that also says something about, like our friendship. She probably thought it was nothing also that she would tell it to me.
I'll be smart enough not to tell you.
I wouldn't say that to anyone, but if you're going to tell somebody that, then you can't possibly take it very serious yourself.
I don't think she was serious. It just happened that way, and she just feel. I don't even think she realized she was telling you until she actually was saying something, and she realized what was happening, and she just had to keep going. But sometimes I think it's deliberately done. If it is deliberately done, you would never know.
You're thinking if she was being sneaky, she wouldn't have said it to her.
No,
Yeah, that's
she
how I
wouldn't.
feel.
What about you, Miss Harrison?
Well, my dear, my ex-husband, actually, I worked with, this woman, and she was married to. Her husband worked at the same job, and I would walk by and see my ex-husband's number on our notepad, and it never occurred to me because we acted as friends, and that one was bad. He would go to pick her up from school, and her husband is sitting there waiting for her.
As well.
And she doesn't realize that, and she jumps in my husband's car. And it went on, but what happened, it really weakened the marriage. Really bad. And one day the husband said to me, well, I might have to kill him. Kill her. Yeah, kill your husband.
Wow.
So I just thought that, I couldn't handle it at home. It was really bad. Because this is a woman who would come to the house and actually eat with me.
Wow.
The family we would go to, and she was doing this, and one day I confronted her and she said, maybe you didn't deserve him.
Oh, so she took that flirting to
Oh,
another
this is-
level.
And one
To a
has to
level of
question your
cheating.
husband too, because
Yeah.
both of these ladies, I know their husbands. I can't see
Yeah.
that they would have gotten themselves caught in that.
No.
But
You know what I mean?
he kept making excuses. He says that's crazy. And those weren't the days when you think of using your cell phone to take a picture, of what's happening. And it weakened the marriage. It really weakened it. I didn't go out and get a divorce, but it added to other things.
Oh, yeah.
And it was miserable.
Is home marriage still intact?
Can you imagine? Yes, they're still together. I said, boy, you're strong, but they're still together. But she really...
So disrespectful though.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
disrespectful.
I had a party at the house once, and, you turn the lights off because, friends, you could see his hand pinching her bottom.
Oh my
Okay,
That's what I'm saying.
No,
You know
that's
what?
more than
That's why he
flirting.
was doing it.
Yeah.
Because he invited
Yes.
it.
So,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just thought both of them really belonged together. But,
Yeah.
because they were just alike, really. Just actually doing the wrong thing all the time.
That's awful.
But my marriage went on for a little bit longer, and you're from the Caribbean where they tell you, oh, you can't go because of the children. So I sat around because of the children, not realizing that I should have gone. I mean, he has never hit me or,
Good provider.
He was a good provider. But the emotional side was really
That
was
was
for me.
disrespectful.
Yeah, that's that
Yeah,
flirting
it was
that went too far.
disrespectful.
Yeah, that
It
gets
was.
into cheating.
It was,
Hey, you're pinching somebody's butt. Even if she was a single
Yeah,
one, but the
that's
first of all, it's
unacceptable.
disrespecting
Oh,
you.
my goodness.
It's disrespecting her husband. Clearly, she's trifling, so, but he's disrespecting
She
both
didn't
that other
care.
marriage and
She
you.
didn't care.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
So it was disgusting. Now that I tell you about it,
Ooh.
it's disgusting.
Oh.
Anybody else had anything regarding flirting? Husband flirting or a woman
Well,
flirting?
I had with husband flirting. I had a husband who we were in church, and there was a young lady there who his thing I think was to try to make me jealous. This wasn't the young lady's fault. This is the opposite. He went up to her and he's like, "Oh, I like your hair," and she went like this because she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" You know what I mean? And that was intended to make me jealous. I said, first of all, I said, one of these days somebody's going to punch your lights out.
That's
Okay?
true.
That you just go up to somebody and you could put your hand on them. And how disrespectful to me.
Yeah.
So I had that experience. But I must say, like I said, the lady who he did that, she did not appreciate it.
So
She
you
did
see, that
not
wasn't
appreciate it.
real.
Yeah. Yeah,
She wasn't
she
the
did not
second
appreciate
part.
it. She literally jumped out of her skin like, what the hell is this man doing? You know? And this was a church going man.
Those
Church
are the ones.
going? Ooh, one of our topics today would be about the church folks. But, well, I don't know if it's this show or another show, but we have one of those issues with the church folks.
All right.
Okay.
Now, Molly, anything to add?
No, I haven't had any.
Lucky you.
No, I'm very lucky. I have very good friends, and no, and I have had. Well, I have only had one husband, and no, he wasn't.
He wasn't a
that
flirtatious
type.
type or
No.
allow a woman to
Nah,
encourage
not at
that
all.
sort of thing.
Not at all.
Okay.
And
So,
he is handsome, so he can invite that, but no, not at all.
Because I think ultimately it's the way people present themselves. Like I know both of I just met Mrs. Harrison's husband once, so I don't know him, but I know these two ladies' husbands. I think of them more like my brother-in-laws. You know what I mean? And I've never seen any part of those guys that would invite that, and I couldn't turn my head there to think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't get how you could say you're friends with somebody. That's not a true friend when somebody does that. Or you could be somebody's friend and then
No.
mess around with their husband and disrespect their marriage like that. Oh my goodness.
Sure.
Wow. You're a good woman, because that was me. And I saw him doing that in my house. Ooh.
Party break up,
I don't want to say it. Don't want to say it, because this temper of mine, that would have gotten the better of me. But it's
Party
good that
break
you didn't go there. Wow. Okay, that's an interesting topic because it happens more than we think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It does.
And it's so interesting that she is still married.
Not to him.
No, she's still married to her
Oh,
husband.
she's still married to her husband.
So he's clearly the one that put up with that.
And
Yeah,
probably
he puts
doing
up
the
with a
same
lot.
thing. Probably she's doing the same
And they might
thing.
have an open thing. He might be getting his little squeeze somewhere else, and he don't care.
Open marriage, so they
Open
don't
marriage.
care about what they do.
All right. So the next spicy dish topic.
Okay, ladies, let's see what we have here. Is there a correlation between penis size and insecurity?
Ooh, dear.
Is there?
Say that one more time.
Say it one more time.
What was that?
Is there a correlation between penis size and insecurity?
In other words, if the instrument is small, is the man more likely to be insecure?
Well. See, maybe because I read it, I should go first.
Yes.
I would honestly say yes. There is.
That's what I like about mama. She's just really. So
I would think so. Yes, I would think so. And I have one, but I know there is. I mean, of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
in the culture that we live in, where people put so much emphasis
so
on
much
size.
macho man, and then when time comes, you can't even
The instrument
match
is
up
small.
to the macho-ness. Come on, there is a problem there. And I am so sure that it's happening out there. I know that. Okay, the ladies, any
Well,
feedback?
I definitely would say there is a lot. There's a linkage, and some of it is society. In that society puts so much emphasis on penis size. Even though the guy may have a big instrument and he does not use it, but because they put that kind of because it's so prevalent in our society where everything is hinges on size, and we had a show where we talk about size matters. Because that let's go back to size matters. So size matters because size matters so much in our society. The minute that a guy has a small instrument, he's starting to feel insecure because he's thinking, oh, she's going to be disappointed. She may not be disappointed because he may have some small weapon, but he know how to use
You
the
may
weapon.
work harder because it's small.
Yeah,
I mean,
he may have other things.
talked about that before.
Yeah.
Work it.
Calm down.
I'm fine. I am good. I'm good.
But I definitely think there's a correlation between it. If you look at most of the guys who are super promiscuous, the majority of them are not guys who are well endowed. That is the truth of the matter. Most of them are not guys who are well endowed because, again, society puts so much pressure on size, the whole thing about size. So when somebody doesn't have them, you're thinking, oh, she can't possibly love me if I don't, It's almost like sometimes you see these guys, they have small instruments and they are so promiscuous. I'm like, do you think the thing is going to stretch any longer? Because you're using it a lot?
I don't think that's true to say that a lot of them who are promiscuous are smaller. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Not size. Promiscuity is a whole different topic.
But sometimes the insecurity, I'm telling you, Caroline, the insecurity causes them to try to, it's like they're trying to create an impression, almost trying to make up
But let me ask
for
you
the
a
size
question.
issue.
Does a black man have that insecurity?
Yeah,
I mean,
listen,
there's
a myth.
I've heard that in this society, ever since I came to the United States, you hear a comparison among, should
Caucasian,
I say, white, Caucasian,
and that's a bunch of nonsense.
And they keep saying, we go towards the black man because he is well endowed.
But that's sometimes
that's
not
something
true.
that I've always heard. So I'm saying,
Let me
does
say
the black man have a problem then?
Oh yeah.
No, there are a lot of them have a problem. Don't. That's a myth. Eh? That's a myth. I think maybe, I don't know, proportionately speaking, maybe there are more of them that are well endowed, but there are a lot of white men that are well endowed and a lot of black men that are not.
How do you know?
Huh? Listen. Trust me, I know. And then because I've been with that many, trust me. And I've never been
But
with
you don't
a
have to
white
be
guy.
going around to know these things.
Women talk.
Out
We
there.
talk.
It is out
We
there.
talk.
It's on the internet.
I remember this girl on my job. this white girl. There's this guy at my job, black guy, handsome guy, and he was again a promiscuous
Still
pig.
there?
Not this job. No, not this
You
job.
were ready to
No. This was.
I was like,
Do we know?
No. This was years ago. Years ago, I was actually at a company out here, and this gentleman, he was black guy, handsome. Oh my God, and promiscuous like a pig. So this white girl, she was married and everything. She went home with him at lunchtime to sleep with him.
Okay.
And the poor husband and her kids have no clue that she's doing this. Well, when she got there, and homeboy got undressed, she was like, holy crap. He did it with another girl, a girl from Trinidad, and she was my friend. So she came back and oh my God, he is just so puny. And she started talking, and then the other girl and her started talking, and they're like, you would think, he's so handsome, he got nothing. So I have seen, it's not about me experiencing. I've been a guys that are well endowed, I've been guys that are not. But I would say that the ones that are not well endowed are more likely to be promiscuous in the society that we live here, because there's a pressure on him to feel like he's got to make I feel so. I'm not saying everybody, of course, nothing is ever black or white. You find more of them are very insecure. And the insecurity leads way to promiscuity, this impression of being promiscuous. So, that's my feeling. Don't let me be out here the only one talking about this issue.
I've said my piece.
Yeah. I think we need to ask the guys.
We don't have a guy here, so
no, but it's. I haven't encountered a guy who has a small equipment. So I don't know, and I have male friends. We never talk about that, but I think it depends on how they are as an individual. That one thing is not gonna make them insecure if they know that they have the other qualities that the woman are looking for. It would be like comparing someone who's short guys.
Now they usually have a little bit of a complex sometimes. More
They may,
but
they are more likely, but they compensate with something else.
We're not saying every guy with a small instrument is insecure and promiscuous. What we're saying, you see more of a, proportionally speaking, you find a lot of them that when their instrument is small, they're insecure and thereby, not to say thereby, but bit promiscuous, because it's almost like I'm trying to.
I don't agree with the whole promiscuous part.
I don't know.
The insecurity part.
I think maybe the insecurity. Because if you're with a woman, they're probably thinking, I have to live up to a certain standard, or what is she going to say if it's too small?
Especially if you're from a certain race.
Okay, once the conversation here, guys. Let me see. So what are you saying?
Go ahead. You were about to say the race. I agree.
If you're from a certain race, if you're from a black, and here I am looking to date a black guy, and I have heard so many things like Miss Harris said about the size, I will maybe be expecting a bigger size.
Right.
It doesn't mean that he's gonna have it. And if he has other qualities that I like, I will say okay. But I don't know how they feel.
You don't know how what feel?
No, how they feel, if they're insecure.
I guess, as you said, we should ask the men.
We should.
This was a good one to have the men in.
I bet you a man would never be honest about it.
No,
exactly.
I don't think they'll be honest about it. I don't think that.
They're in private, but they will not be honest about it on TV, because here's the thing: we do put so much emphasis on it in our society, and that is exactly the reason why a lot of them are insecure.
I don't know that we do. Are you talking like a percentage wise?
I feel that the majority of them, when they're not well endowed, are more likely to be. Let me put it this way: I think a lot of promiscuous men are not well endowed. I think you're more likely to find men that are not well endowed being promiscuous. Doesn't mean that ones with they're well endowed or not, but I think the percentage of men who are.
But why is that? Is he seeking? What is he seeking? What
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they're trying to see if he can stretch a little longer. I don't know. I don't know.
You know?
I mean, it's almost, you know what it is? I think sometimes it's that the man feel like I have to prove that I could keep up, or I could do a lot, because, even though I have a small, instrument. That's what I think.
I would call it a pencil.
Should we do a survey?
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh guys.
This is funny.
This is one that we need to do again and have some men on. But again, how many men you know gonna come on here?
Maybe we should.
I think you would have to get like older men, men like in the 60s who don't care.
That's true. Yes.
To really, because a younger man getting him on the panel to talk about that, he's not going to talk about that.
No, everybody know my baby is little.
Talk about it.
I mean,
he will be known as the one with the
small baby.
Exactly.
Okay.
I often wondered about God though, how he makes people so different.
Yeah.
Because you think that, I mean, having heard that the black man is always well endowed.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Jamaica, I heard that before I came here. But he made, I mean, some white people who are well endowed too. So
I think that's a myth. I really, really think that's a myth.
I agree.
I think that's a myth. I think that's a myth. I'm not saying that. Probably proportionally speaking, there may not be black guys who. More black guys that are well endowed, but I don't think it's the way people think. I think there are a lot of white guys that are. I think there are a lot of black guys that are not. And I think that's a myth that people go. There are a lot of people there are people who go with black men thinking they are well endowed. And like this lady I was telling you guys about, she was cheating on the husband with this guy, and leave her husband and kids at home, and all of us at the workplace knew, not my current workplace, trust me, this is eons ago. All of us knew that she would leave at lunchtime and go home with this guy. Mm-hmm. And the guy was married. So his wife is at work and he takes his chick into his house. And then they're comparing notes. Now, if you know you got something small, why do you want the world to know?
But then why she kept going back though? Why she kept going back?
No, why don't think she kept going back? I think she went and they probably tried a little bit afterward, but afterwards she was disappointed. That's what I was telling you. She was disappointed. Because she was expecting a black guy to be well hung. And he wasn't. So that's what these stereotypes would do. They give you the wrong impression.
You see, seriously speaking, I think that to each his own. Everybody wasn't made for everybody. Mm-hmm. God made a man and a woman for a man and a woman too. And sometimes we go beyond where we're supposed to go, and we get results is that we get things that we're not expecting. But sometimes it's because you step out of your bound. If you are with someone and you with that person for the love of who that person is and what you guys can do together as a couple, and whether or not you have a big pee or not, you're gonna be happy with what you have, because that's your
mom. My mom used to say,
you're gonna be happy with what you have because that's yours. That's what you were allotted in your thing. You're gonna be happy. You're not gonna be walking away and say, "Oh, I have to go look for something bigger or something smaller."
And then buy trouble on yourself.
Exactly.
I mean,
so be happy with what you have.
There are guys who, because it's big, they think that's all they have to do. They don't think they have to do anything else.
But
whereas a guy who might be smaller will really take his time and make sure,
They don't think because they have a big thing there, and that's what women are looking for, and they just lay there with this big thing just there, thinking that that's what they want. They're going to be unhappy too because they know what to do with it. Yeah, it's going to be ruling them. It's going to be like a weight in that bed with the, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So just be happy with what you have and enjoy it. Because there are ways you can do things.
You're more to life than that. Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't want to put this thing in the throat anyway.
So you're talking,
you know what I'm saying?
You're talking to the woman too.
Talking about throat.
You're talking to the woman too.
Well, I mean, my word on this.
No, I mean, women, men, I don't think it's a difference thing. I think you guys, we should all.
I think it all depends on what you're looking for, though.
Well, if you see when you're dating this man, if this is not what you want to deal with, let it go right away.
Women look for packages.
Let it go. Mm-hmm. If you're looking for a package and that's not the package you want, and if sex is what you're going to be drawing you to this person, and you're not getting that package or that kind of sex that you're looking for, let it go. There is
But
somebody
isn't that
else
sad,
who
though?
want what you want.
But isn't that
let
sad
it
though
go.
to let something go because of that?
No,
Because,
it's
you know, that's too fast.
that-
You know what I mean?
I don't,
After
think,
a while,
I don't
people-
think it's sad for the person.
Mhm.
If that's your priority, is that what you want, then you should go for what you want.
That's what I'm saying. If that's the package that you want,
This
Stay
borders
there.
on a couple
If
of
not,
other things.
if not, let it go. Because if you think sex is gonna hold you there, other than what this man have to offer you, and the sex is not there, the people not functioning the way you want it to function, walk away. Let it go. Because trust me, that PP have its owner. Okay? Its owner is coming. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Every finger is not the same length.
Yeah.
Hello, each
But
one
they all
can
have their
function.
function, yeah.
Because if something cut this one here, you're gonna realize how important it is to these others. So if that is not your package, walk away.
If it's
Somebody
that
is
important.
satisfied with that
Right.
package.
If that's-
All right.
Exactly.
Walk
And-
away. Okay.
Exactly.
And you're right.
Okay. I agree. I agree.
We have different needs.
Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I don't wanna let me not say it. I'm not gonna go any further. Just leave that one alone right there.
All right.
Because this place
I
will
think
So-
we're gonna end this.
It's
So
topic.
we're going to end this topic. So it's not the size of the wee-wee, it's what the person can do with it.
Exactly.
And if your wee-wee is all important, it's ever important to you, then as far as Ms. Omar said, walk away, because that wee-wee have another owner.
So how many names this thing has? Because first thing I heard was
Wee-wee,
PP.
wee-wee,
Wee-wee.
instrument,
What-
weapon.
pencil. What name?
But the funny thing is,
What's the
we
name?
all know what it means. Okay?
Exactly. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go through our Dear Health Team section of the show. We'll be right back. I'm Trish.
I'm a mountain.
I'm Irma. And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. All right, welcome back to Caribbean House Talk, where we're going to go into our Dear Health Team section. Dear Health Team, should you ever co-sign for a friend or for a husband, not, I wouldn't say husband, but for a boyfriend, a friend, anybody, for a car, for a cell phone, for a loan of some sort, should you ever co-sign? Do you ever think it's justified?
No.
No, I have done it. I've had my share of experience, very bad experience in doing that. So I don't really encourage that. I wouldn't encourage it. I co-signed for who I thought was a very good friend. And for quite a good amount of money. And I was shocked when I got the call. She left the country. She's now in African country. I'm not going to say where. She's a dentist. She opened her practice. And she stuck me for that. So I had to pay that $2,500 to the bank.
So you got the bad debt.
So I got the bad debt. And I would not encourage it. You know, I would not encourage
And, and the sad part, I say no, but the sad part is that people will make you feel guilty. Like, oh, if you're a friend, or if it's your boyfriend, if you really love me, if you care, I really need this, they make you feel guilty that you want to do it. I have not done it. I don't even want to co-sign for my kids or my brother or my sister. I think I did it for one of my kids. You have to do it sometimes in school, but that's about the relationship. My husband, maybe
That's your
my
husband,
kids,
yeah.
that I would do it. I won't do it for a friend, an outsider,
I was raised to the term or the language of if you can't give it, don't lend it. My mother I was raised by my mom alone. My father passed when I was a baby, so I don't have a father growing up, but my mother was like my mother and my father. She's a Trojan. I used to call her a Trojan woman. My mother would instill in me, and I was always saying, I grew up hearing her say, if I can't give this to you, I'm not going to lend it to you, because once I lend it, that's it. I'm not going to get it back if I can't do without it. I'm not gonna lend it to you. I've seen friendships, relationships go belly up because of this same thing here, not lending or can't help, not helping. I have 2 boys. If my children need anything and they want to borrow what I have, they don't borrow what I have because I don't have anything that they want to borrow, but if they need anything, I'm not going to lend them. I'll give it to them. If I cannot give it to them, they're not going to get it from me. If I have a friend, honestly, my husband is different.
Yeah, your husband is different. Remember we said friend,
but my
boyfriend, or fiance, or
right.
stuff like that.
I'm getting to that point. I have a very good friend that I grew up with. I never ever have to lend her anything because we are on the same level. But I have other friends that came to me to borrow stuff. And I said, look, Red Rose, I can't lend it to you. But I have this, you can have it. I'm not going to lend you anything because if you can't give me back when I want it back, something else is going to happen. For us to remain friends, this is what I have. You are more than welcome to have it.
But remember, we're talking about co-signing. Lending is totally different. Yeah, I don't lend a friend, but we're saying, would you co-sign for a friend if they needed a car, okay, or they need a person, to co-sign on their house? Would you co-sign?
Yeah, I understand that. I understand it on the house.
Well,
could be a car.
No.
Could be
a car. Let's say a car.
No co-signing, no lending, nothing. Nothing that you have to give me back. Because I know I am not going to get it back. I don't care who you are and what you think you're going to do and how you're going to try to pay me back. It's not going to happen because the people will do it. People will give you back. I shouldn't say that. I correct myself on that. Some people will give back, but the majority of the people will not live up to that.
Well, I lend money, so that I can't say that. Lending is different. Co-signing, that's a whole other story because you're putting your credit, you're putting everything that you have on the line when you co-sign for somebody.
Because lending,
it's not the same.
Lending, giving money, that's one thing. Obviously, if you give it, you have it to give.
Yeah.
And you stand a chance of not getting it back, but it's not the same thing. What she's saying is true. You're putting your credit out there on the line for co-signing with somebody.
Okay, I totally get that. I have a little banking experience where I worked in that field for a couple of years, and I know what it takes to actually bring yourself to the point where you're going to take your pen and put it on the dotted line for someone. And for me, it's a big no, because that thing could drain you. It drains you, especially if you're doing it on an emotional state where you think you feel sorry and you want to help in such a way. You just sign your whole life away, because that's another baby that you adopted that you didn't have any space to accommodate. As far as I'm concerned.
But you also, when you're co-signing, things might be fine today, but let's say if it is a car can be a 6-year lease. Today, that person is doing well, and you can trust, okay, they're going to pay it. 6 years down the line, your friendship can break up, they can lose their job, anything can happen. So I think you have to be really careful when it comes to putting your credit and yourself on the line, no matter how much pressure the person gives you or whether they make you feel guilty or not. What do you think?
I think that if you cannot afford it, and this is what I mean, when you cannot afford money that's available for you by your credit, or money that is available for you when you work, you shouldn't be buying the piece of, it's either a car or a home. You should not be buying it. And also when you mix business with friendship, most of the time it doesn't work.
It don't work.
Getting a loan is a really important business transaction. And you get caught up with the feelings. Oh, she really wants it. if she really wants it, she needs to make sure that her credit is okay. If it's
Or get a second job.
or get a second job, or do if they really are passionate about what they want, they will find a way.
And why do you need a co-signer anyway? That would make me question that. Is it because your credit is bad? So then I have to think twice. You know.
Well, I will have the last word on this one. Absolutely not. Amalfi, you just said it. If you can't afford something, what in the blaze are you trying to get it for? Look at Judge Judy. Look at look at Judge Judy. Let's just take Judge Judy. And most of these things are there people who did kindness towards friends and they stiff them with the bill. Or these young girls who is dating some guy who comes here and he wants a cell phone. I'm like a fool. But then I don't want to say like a fool because I tell you, this grown woman was a fool. But then again, you can't say I was a fool. I'll give you one of my husbands. Lord.
Okay.
Out of respect for the children, I'm not gonna say which one. But one of my husband, he wanted a van because he was going into business. This was my husband. This wasn't the guy I was dating. So I went and I co-signed because his credit was in the dumps, and I got him a van. And then we were able to buy another van used, but this one was new, so we got it, in trouble. The payments I could never get was a little over $300, and it was for 5 years. And when it was time to make those payments, no money. I eventually confronted him and said, "What's going on here?" And you know what he turned around and said to me? This is my husband. This was my husband. He said, "My credit is already a mess. If you don't want to pay it, it's all on you." And you see, he knew me enough to know that I would starve before I not pay my bills. I'm responsible for that. When he used to say it, he said, "You're the first person I see would rather starve than not pay your bills." So he knew that I would not ruin my credit by not paying that bill. And I could tell you guys, I was stuck with that bill
So what did you
for
say?
5 years because I didn't know any better. So I kept paying it.
You couldn't sell it?
The thing is too, I registered it in his name. So even though I was totally naive. So I don't come to anyone from a point of, "Oh, you're stupid." I come and say, "Listen, learn from, if I jump over do you need to jump over a bank to know if you'll kill yourself? If you see other people jump over the bank and they kill themselves, then you know that is not a safe thing to do. So young people, listen to me. Or women, men, don't be stupid. If somebody cannot afford it, they have no business getting it. From the time a man, and I see this mostly, I'm going to get on the men a little bit here because I see it mostly with the men. But it does happen with women too, where the man can't afford certain things. He can't afford a car or a cell phone. And he finds this vulnerable woman who really likes him. And he manipulates her into getting her to sign for that car, or sign for that cell phone, or sign for whatever. And then he shows his true color. And that poor young person is either their credit is messed up, or they got to take a dive in the credit department.
And
you understand what I'm saying?
And I just want to say something. That you opening up to that man has nothing to do with how smart you are. Nothing. So the females that are out there that are doing that or have done that, don't feel bad. It's just your heart. You becoming like a savior to the guy. You're like, "Oh, let me do this for him, so maybe he would like more. Maybe our relationship will be better." Not knowing that that has nothing to do with the relationship and how it's working. So, I haven't done it, but I would probably have done it in the past.
Well, I did it, and here's where I learned my lesson. So, there was another person, I'm not going to say if it was a husband or a boyfriend, but another dude I was dealing with, who showed up one day with a car. Showed up one day with a car, and I said, "Where did you get this car?" He said, "I went to Hempstead." And again, you have children, so you don't want to embarrass their dads, whoever. So I'm not identifying directly. And said, he went to Hempstead and he went to a car dealership, and they gave him the car to bring home for the night. And he said, and he was in school, so he wasn't making really money to even be helping with the bills. But I'm trying to help him get to the point where he could be doing better, right? So he says, by the way, they said if you come in and sign, I'll get the car. I can't use the language that I used on here. I said, you better carry that blank car right back to them. Do I look like a fool? You can't afford the damn car, but you're bringing it in the house, hoping that this idiot is going to go sign for it. So I learned my lesson. You understand? Because when the ex-husband said to me, oh, it's not my credit. If you don't pay it, it's your credit. That was calculated. And this was somebody I was married to, was trying to help to build his business. I had a job. This is how evil this individual was. I had a job, so I didn't need that. He didn't have a kind of job I had, so I'm trying to help him build a business. And he looked at me and he said, if you don't pay it, it's your credit. I already got a messed up credit.
But you knew that
That's a
from
mess.
before. You knew that from before.
Knew what from before?
We know all of these things.
No, honestly, Amalfi, most of the time we know. We know we got crap or not have crap.
We do.
And I think I did not realize that this person was that evil. Because it takes a certain amount of evilness to plot and do that to someone that you're married to, that have a child by. Okay?
See how the experience with him help you with the second one not to make the same mistake.
Oh, that's what I'm telling you, young people. You listen to me? Oh God, please listen to me. Listen to me. When that dude, I don't care how cute he is, I don't care how sweet that pee-pee is. Listen to me. How big it is. Listen to me. You don't let him let you co-sign for crap. If he can't afford it, he doesn't get it. Don't be stupid. Learn from old coots like me. Okay? Who have been there. That's why I'm not coming to you telling you you're stupid. I'm saying don't do the same crap I did.
Let him walk away.
Let him walk away. Because it's better he walk away and not leave you in debt than he walk away. Because he will, if that's what he's after, which most of the time a man that will come to you to co-sign and trying to get stuff from you, he's really there to what he can get. And he's going to walk eventually. And you know. So
stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane and just be careful and don't do it. Don't do it.
Deal with like minds. People like you. You look for the people that's in your circle. You choose who you bring into your circle. Don't go look for nobody who wants you to co-sign for nothing. That's not for anyone that belongs in your circle. If you are one of those people who want people to co-sign for you, then fine, you can go look for those kind of people. But once you're not in that circle, don't get involved with people in that circle. Stay in your lane.
If a person cannot afford something, but they're coming to you,
let it go.
Actually, he or she, especially if it's a he, I hate to sound sexist, is a loser. Because more often than not, that's who you see doing it. And there are women who do it too. I mean, they're losers too, but society conditioned women to think that it's okay for them to have a sugar daddy. No, it's not okay. You shouldn't be asking people to co-sign. And look, I think I'm being hard because I've seen a lot of women doing it too. You see on these TV shows, a lot of the women who are getting sometimes with these older men, manipulating and using them to put them up, to co-sign for stuff for them, and then they show their true colors. So I should really pull that back and say, period, whether you're male or female, somebody's coming to you trying to get you to co-sign something they can't afford. That's a loser. They are a loser and a user. You don't do it. That's my take on that.
Bottom line.
Bottom line. End of story. All right, so we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to have a few items on our news and notes section. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm Trish.
I'm Amalfi.
I'm Irma.
And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. Alright, so welcome back to Caribbean House Talk, and we're about to go into a news and notes section. Ladies, this week, I think this week or last week, Governor Cuomo passed a law in New York State where people can get free education in the public colleges, right? If you earn below $125,000.
And that's the parents.
The parents earn below $125,000. And I think there's some conditions because you have to serve 4 years in the state. And some people are up in arms about that. I said, if the state is going to educate you free of charge, don't you think you need to give back something? I don't find anything wrong with that.
Absolutely.
You're talking about, now first let me say this, do you guys know that the public universities were intended to be free until minorities started going to them, and all of a sudden they start charging, and it kept going up and up. So I give much credit to Governor Cuomo for doing this. I think this is big, and I do think that if the state is educating you, that the least you can just come back, give back something. So I don't have any problem with that. You know, my son wanted to go out of state. I said, well, you can go out of state for graduate school, but for undergrad,
You can stay right here.
What about if he chooses to pay for his
He can
take loans?
where you gonna get it from?
Who's gonna co-sign it?
A loan.
Who's gonna co-sign?
Why put yourself in debt? I think, listen, when you're about to go to grad school, you can go wherever you want. But I think if the state is giving free education, you stay right here and go to school.
You know, the only thing with that though is that the competition is really going to be just crazy. You know, because even right now, before this whole free thing, because the public colleges, they're getting to be outrageously expensive. You have more people who want to send their kids to the SUNYs, the state universities, or the CUNYs, in our case, city universities. And what happens now, you're creating a competition that's really severe, you know? So people who were able to go there before because they couldn't go away, they're not going to be able to get in there now because competition is too high, you know? So it all of this has a triple effect. You know?
Well, that is one reality. That is true.
A lot of people make less than $125 a year. A lot of people.
Yeah, and I don't know the whole specifics of it. If you're saying 125, I know I heard the free, and I didn't know what the dollar limit was. But 125 is pretty high, you know. And if you're talking about, is that 125 for two-parent household? Or 125 one parent, that's really high for a one parent household. So I'm sure there's a little bit more to that, you know, when you get really into specifics of it.
What happens if the kid doesn't have parents?
Well, then that's another situation where the kid can get in and go for free.
Oh, they can.
They have no income.
They have no income.
I think basically once you're below a certain age, you attach your parents' income. Or whoever, but if you don't have parents, I guess you attach your own income, which would be zero, little.
Right, but don't be fooled. I mean, kids who are, the competition is still going to be high. If you're going to get somewhere for free, they're not going to take that C student. They're going to still look for the A students and the A plus and the high Bs. And those are the ones that they're going to let come into that school. Okay, whereas many state and city colleges, not to say anything's wrong with them, but a lot of them took in the students that other people didn't want. Okay? So now when you do something like that, you're going to really start seeing other people pushed away.
So you're really working to get in there. It may be free, it may appear free, but you really have to work those 4 years and prove that you can be a good student for them to offer you a free tuition.
Well, that would be an incentive.
What do you mean?
The grades, if you work
She means you gotta have high grades. You gotta have high grades.
Is there a grade thing attached to that? I didn't hear that.
Even if you don't hear it, it's going to happen because you have to have a way to eliminate the competition. All right. If you got 10 people, 10 students, and there are only 4 spots, you have to look at something to kind of get rid of the competition. So the next thing you're going to look at, everybody, they're all free. That's why they applied. They have this income that's below. So now, in order to eliminate, I have to find a way to do that. So I'm going to look at the grades. So they're going to take the ones with the highest grades. That's what they do now when it comes to scholarships and everything else.
The Ivy League schools, that's what they do. They
Wow.
have a list.
The plot thickens. The next issue is this last couple of weeks we saw videos of this airline where a gentleman was pulled off of this airline who claimed to be flying the friendly skies, and he was bloodied and dragged out like a piece of garbage, and it took them a while before they started to realize, wait a minute, he's going to sue the pants off of us to all of a sudden come out and say something. At first it was all kind of justification, and it wasn't like this guy was fighting anyone. He just really needed to get home, and he was saying no. And they beat this guy up so badly. And I'm thinking that's the police that they called.
Yeah.
I think it was the airport police.
Well, some law enforcement.
But it were police anyways.
Yeah, they weren't part of the airline. That was the big thing with that. You know, they weren't part of the airline. I think they were the Chicago police department, not airline security.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
But the airline must have called the police to get involved.
Yeah.
And the fact that instead of them, saying, this isn't right or this is not what we intended, we just meant for them to, control him, get him off. They have made a lot of excuses, so I think that man is about to be wealthy.
My thing is, if you come up and said, okay, we need to carry a certain amount of people and we need space, we needed seats, we will offer blah blah, and nobody say, well, okay, let me take the offer, because people want to move, people want to go where they're going, and they shouldn't have to go to the extent that they did to move someone off the plane if it was computer generated or not. This guy have a reason to go home. He didn't want to stay. He didn't want to give his seat up. They should have said, anybody want to volunteer the seat? Because obviously this man have to do.
Right, and they offer
it's what they do all the time.
They used to
But
do
I
that.
don't know why now you have to pull somebody out the seat if they say no, they don't want to leave because they have things to do and they
Well, you know what?
I don't understand. I really don't.
From what I understood, I've been trying to find, I've been really busy, but from what I understood, it started out that way where they tried to offer people, like they always do, I'll give you this amount of money or some incentive to give up your seat, and nobody wanted to do it. So after going through that, that's when they decided to do the whole so-called random computer,
that I got,
looking to take somebody off. But I agree. I mean, if you pull my name up randomly and you're telling me, okay, you have to get off, no, I'm a paying customer. I paid for my seat. Stop overselling the doggone seats.
They didn't oversell the
You're not going
seat.
to take me off if I pay. I have somewhere to go too.
They wanted to move another crew, which could have waited for the next flight to move
we
out.
don't even know the urgency of that.
There was no
that's
urgency.
Not even the point.
There was no urgency from what I saw online.
I agree.
There was no
I'm
urgency.
just saying what they're saying, but my thing is, I paid for my seat. If I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not acting erratic or crazy. I paid for my seat. I expect to be able to go home. Nobody should be able to pull me off the plane and take me out of my seat.
You shouldn't be pulled off the plane.
But here's one thing.
But not like that, though. Look how
but here's the next disturbing thing. The thing that disturbed me the most about that wasn't just, it's bad enough they did that to this man. Somebody, I don't know whether it's the airline, I don't know whether it's law enforcement, but somebody is trying to muddy up this guy as if that made any difference as to what happened with him. About, he sold drugs to people, he exchanged sex for drugs. I mean, all of that stuff about this guy, which I don't know if it's true or not.
This was the doctor?
The doctor. They started bringing out a whole bunch of things about him. As if. Well, the media definitely is where we heard it. And probably is where it started. I don't know. But they started bringing out this stuff about this guy as if that justified him being treated in that way.
Whether or not that he did what he did, they had no right to pull him off like that. He's a human being, he's a person, and the man doesn't do all the things that they say he does. He doesn't. And he's a decent man with a family.
But even he did. What does that have to do with what he did? What they did?
It has nothing to do with what he did. What they did to him, but they just want to take the distraction off of them and put it on this poor guy.
They want to dehumanize him to make people not feel sorry for him. Has nothing to do with how he was treated.
Because I understand the next day that same company flew a plane empty from Europe to America because everybody over there boycott the flight and they went on other flights. And that's when they start reacting now to what really happened. And they had to ground about 4 planes since that happened because
that's what I love about America.
Nobody flying.
That's what I love about America. There are avenues
to
stand up and fight against
land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, everything you have to have people who are willing to do it. Because anytime there's something wrong, the best way to fight against it is hit them in the pocket. Find a way to hurt people, hurt their pockets.
But
unfortunately, that's all they understand.
I heard a couple of people were saying, well, not on the news, but you know, that among the Asian community, they are working really hard to actually ground them for good, like take them off the fly list. They're not going to be using them, and they're calling for other nations to boycott that.
I think they're going to go under. I think they're going to go under.
Something going to happen.
United is made up of several other airlines. That's a huge.
But another airline got a problem this week too.
Remember that company during the recession that everybody was too big to fail? It failed. I think they're going to go under.
Yeah, so let me tell you something. You know what? All they have to do, the airline, put up a big sale. Okay, if everybody is running a trip to Florida for $500, and that airline says the only way we can do this is to get a sale, and they run it for $250, you guys are gonna buy it. Okay, you're gonna buy that flight. So no, you're not gonna. They're not
some
gonna
people wouldn't
be
buy it.
out of business.
Let me tell you something. What I heard, there's a big movement going on right now as we speak among that nation of people that this guy belonged to, that are working to bring this airline down. That's what I heard.
That may be true, but people are gonna go for their needs.
They will.
Well, they would have that, but they also got enough of a orchestrated boycott of it. I don't think it's too big for fail. I'm not saying it should fail. I'm just saying that it can be brought down.
They're doing their thing. And that doesn't mean that I'm on board with them, because if there's a cheap flight, then I have to go, I'm going.
Yes, I'll be going to.
Their point is, her point exactly.
Exactly. So,
that's my point. Yeah.
And as much as I feel for what happened, it's not going to make me not take the cheap flight if it's there. It taking me there, whether I pay $5 or if I'll pay $50, it's going to take me to the airport right there where I want to go. So I will go. Give me a little more money to buy a couple more pairs of shoes. I will take the cheap flight and I will go. But that doesn't mean that I agree with what they do. And I know that goes for a lot of other people too. Some people just really don't give a damn what happened to them or not. But they feel sorry for the guy. That doesn't mean that they're not going to fly the airline.
Yeah, there's some people just don't like it, but they're not necessarily going to take it that far.
But his people are fighting to bring them down. They are fighting.
Would it be enough though?
Bring them down. I don't know. But the next
They can
day,
change
everybody canceled their flight that was coming out of Europe to America. Not one of them came on the plane. The plane came over empty.
Wow.
Yeah.
They can change course.
Yeah,
they don't have to go.
Well, sometimes they'll maneuver around
so
it.
it can work out
Well,
for them.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Miss Irma Weiss is going to grace us with some of her fashion, and later we're going to have a little cooking segment for you on this edition of Caribbean House Talk. We'll be right back. I'm Trish.
I'm Malfi.
I'm Irma.
And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Talk. Welcome back to Caribbean House Talk, where we have been very privileged to have fashion by Irma Weiss. And so Ms. Weiss is going to explain the pieces that we're wearing. She's doing today shawls, right?
Yes,
Pantos.
and vests. We have Caroline wearing the vest from the fake fur with inside, the lining inside is like untraditional. I don't like to do, I'm not the person who will do the solid lining I always look to somewhere to change it up a little. And Miss Harrison, she's wearing just a throw over, something that you just throw over your shoulders, but it keeps your arms covered and warm and everything.
Okay.
It's black with a little yellow tweed in between, and
to the back.
a fat piping around the neck to show it up a little.
It's longer in the back.
In the back, I have the shape of a triangle, the end of the triangle. Okay, and here we have Trish wearing the poncho. It's like a semi-flare, The back is all open, so it's one size fit all. Anyone can wear this. And the Malfi is making the capelet. It's just on the shoulder. You can dress this up, you can dress it down. They come in different sizes. It all depends on the width of the shoulder. So here we have all 4 of my latest designs that I made for the spring.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to do our cooking segment. We're going to be right back. I'm Trish.
I'm Amalfi.
I'm Irma.
And I'm Caroline.
And we are the Caribbean House Store. Welcome back to Caribbean House Talk and our segment, Cooking with Trish. Today I'm going to give you my version of empanadas. So my children, you often hear me say on the show that if my children like something, I'll try to find a way to make at least my version of it. So one of the things that they like is empanadas from the local Dominican restaurant in my area. So what I did, I tried to figure out, okay, let me, try to come up with my own solution so that I don't have to spend a lot of money. I'm not frugal, but I just feel that I know what I'm putting into my stuff. So what I do, normally I make this with ground turkey instead of beef. Because you can make them with turkey, you can make them with chicken. I went with chicken today because when I went to the supermarket to get the turkey, it looked brown. And I did not feel that healthy turkey would look brown. So I told the supermarket, I'm not really liking that your thing is that color. So I picked the chicken because the chicken was nice and pink and fresh. So basically what I did, I kind of cook this in oil, try to use something healthy, as healthy as you can, and I put different seasoning, and I put things based on what I like in my meats. I put a little bit, like maybe about 2, let's say you get about a pound, this is a smaller quantity, but let's say you get about a pound of ground chicken or ground turkey. You put maybe about 2 tablespoons of green seasoning. I put some onion flakes, maybe like 2 tablespoons as well. I put some Larry seasoned salt. I put chicken rub because I use the chicken one, ground chicken. I put chopped garlic, maybe about 1 tablespoon. You could put other things like soul food seasoning. You could put things like Mrs. Dash. It really depends on what you like, And you cook it down with the ground chicken or the ground turkey. And then you steam vegetables, mixed vegetables. I personally like mixed vegetables in mine. This is something I like. So I mix it all together, like so. And now I'm going to make my empanadas. I buy the skin. Sometimes I buy the ones this color. Sometimes I buy the one this color. Now it doesn't matter what color it is. Actually, I don't think there's one more healthy than the other. I just try to mix them. Now what I'm going to do is put it like a filling, and sort of like think of it as from the Caribbean, like you're making coconut tarts or something like that, or jelly tarts or something like that. So I put the filling in, and I use a fork, and I press the end. Remember, you used to help your mother make tarts, that they would press the edge of it to kind of bring it together. And usually they have a plastic in between the each skin, so you could use that to create this little design here. Fold it over and press it with the fork. I'm going to do the other one. And again, once you put it in, the idea is to flap it over and to again use your fork, kind of press the edge like so, press it down. Now you can cook this in a deep fryer Or you can just fry it regularly. I use my deep fryer because I can put about 3 or 4 of them at a time, and it's very quick because this stuff is already cooked in terms of the turkey, and the vegetables are already steamed. So we're only talking about the dough. And once I put it in there, it's taking just about 2 minutes, and we have nice golden crust empanadas. So this is basically how they look. And then you put them into your deep fryer, or you fry them in a regular frying pan. Now, in the interest of time, and of course the magic of television, we had some prepared earlier. And so here is the finished product. Okay, so I want somebody to come offset and help me to sample this. These are the finished product that we have. So we have Caroline Mitchell Davis, who is going to sample this with us. Help yourself to one. Grab a plate. Thank you. Ooh, Mrs. Harrison. There we go.
Looks really good.
Come on, ladies, you want to come? Wait, hold on. I'm going to bring for the other ladies.
Delicious.
It is.
I do my
Hit the spot.
This is very good.
Okay. And there we have delicious golden empanadas. At a fraction of what it will cost. You know what you put in it. Not everybody put the mixed vegetables, and not everybody put the same spices that I put. I just basically go with the spices that I usually put on my meats. And that's it.
It's very good.
Well, thank you for joining us on this edition of Caribbean House Talk. As always, we look forward to having you and to bringing you a lot of informative information. We love to bring you fun and laughter, and of course, as we say, we aim to cover things from funny to curious to tearfully serious. See you on the next edition. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.